Hello and welcome. I'm RP2 Knight, she, her, and I'm submitting Crypt of the Necrodancer Aria hard wrong music for Frame Fatales. The description of Aria is on the screen, and I'll just quickly talk over it. So this is one of the challenge characters. She is restricted to the base dagger. She dies in a single hit, and she dies on a missed beat. So you have to keep the beat. You have to be very careful with her. I am adding two more challenges. One is hard mode, which has vastly more enemies and significantly more difficult bosses, and wrong music, wherein I mute the in-game audio and will compensate and have some other music playing in my ears. So I have to keep beat to the in-game music while listening to other stuff, on top of the challenges of both Aria and wrong music on hard mode. So, instead of providing live commentary for my run, I will provide a voiceover for a previously recorded run. So the game starts off in Zone 5. One of the main mechanics of Zone 5 is the wire, wherein every time you hit an enemy on the wire, this causes electricity to spark out and spawn and go through other enemies. This can be very useful in terms of killing a bunch of enemies, but it also makes things hard in that you can sometimes kill and damage enemies you weren't ready to. So that doesn't happen here, but it is. So I have opened the mini boss room. You can see the dragon and the minotaur provide the two mini bosses. I need to kill them in order to get to the next level. So here we go. Killing the dragon is easy. You just sort of hit back up, and there we go. So I've killed all the enemies, and now I'm just going to grab this circlet. This lets me see any future enemies, so it lets me prepare for things. One other thing I'm going to do here is that I'm going to open that cracked wall. Cracked walls indicate that there's a secret shop of some kind, and so the level of the wall here is level 2 wall. I cannot dig them normally, but I use the evil eye to open it. So this was a transmute shop, so I'm going to transmute my items into hopefully better ones, and I got one of the 2 best items in the game. I was about to transmute my shovel again before I realized I didn't have enough gold. So the headphones provide +2 damage, and this is an incredible benefit. Being able to kill most enemies and not think too hard about, how am I going to do lots of damage, how am I going to find long spaces to do lots of damage, is a real benefit. And so, this is really nice. The downside of the headphones is they break if you drop a beat, but since I die in 2 hits, right, since I have a potion, so dropping a beat is incredibly punishing for Aria. So, the downside is greatly mitigated. And you can see I'm just chunking that metronome. And I just zoomed to the exit. I don't like my odds there. Opening up this secret shop, which was in a tier 1 wall. This had a bunch of shrines. There was nothing that I really wanted. So this can happen if you have 2 sarcophagi near the start of a zone, of a level, in that you need to just clearing out the non-sarcophagi enemies takes a while, and because you also have to deal with the sarcophagi. I finally got past the enemies there, and so now I'm into the level. And open this up. More damage is always nice. Yeah. Okay, so now those enemies are too far to be meaningfully aggroed, so I can, broadly speaking, ignore the sarcophagi. There's going to be a lot of sort of trickery to not have to deal with various sarcophagi, and you oftentimes want to either blind them or try to destroy the handful that are going to be real problematic. I only have 1 bomb, so it's imperative that I am careful with it. There's a sarcophagus in Zone 4 that I consider basically must destroy on site. So getting a little bit more gold before heading into the first boss. The first boss is Coral Rift, and if you've seen Crypt of the Necrodancer before, you notice that there's something off here. There's 2 extra mini-bosses in this fight. Normally, bosses are the easiest to practice part of the game, but the extra 2 mini-bosses with no ability to practice them makes this a lot harder. So I went and killed the Metronome because that's a fast boss that can easily close in on me. But then I'm just ignoring the brown dragon because I can run away from it. I fortunately had 3 damage, so I could just throw my dagger at Coral Rift and instantly kill it once he was vulnerable. So I got heavy glass armor, which will soak 3 hits for me, which is incredibly useful. Right, again, extra damage is really nice. So here we go, I'm going to walk into the shop, and that need scroll will help me. If I lose my potion, it can be used to buy a new one. So it's basically another life. So you can see there that I miscounted something and got hit by a harpy, and the heavy glass was really useful in not taking damage from that. So now I'm just sort of waiting for everything in this mini boss room to aggro. So, kill everything, kill the 2 mini bosses, the mommy, and the nightmare. So one thing I did with the mommy is I had a gold pile that had 50 or more gold, and that causes a leprechaun to spawn in 7 beats. So I killed 7 beats, and then killed the leprechaun, and that provides an item, the Lucky Charm, which means that bats, the most notable thing it does is that bats cannot move into you unless that's their only move. Bats' movements are typically random, and so having protection from bats is really useful. So here there's a little bit of a charade with a bounce trap that I'm immune to because I'm wearing heavy glass armor, but that the enemies were not. So there's a little bit of song and dance there. And here I use the bomb from the Goblin Bomber to blow up that sarcophagus. Again, really useful. So again, one more mini boss room. I'm just waiting for the chance to kill these bats. I'm playing a little bit careful in these very crowded places because it's very easy to realize that not realize that a bat has no legal move other than to attack you. So even though I was safe from bats there, it's better play this safe than sorry. So these are another enemy that I haven't talked too much about. These are ghouls. You hit them and they drop goo. If you don't have any sort of floor protection, they do it. You can't make legal actions on there other than moves. If you attempt to attack, you will drop the beat. It'll be as if you dug a wall you couldn't dig. So they can be very annoying, creating these huge puddles of goo that you can't really deal with. So here this sarcophagus here is spawning orange armadillos, which are another annoying enemy. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get rid of it, and I'm messing up badly. Obviously, I should just be standing on the side, but here we go. The orange armadillo is now rolling far away, and I no longer have to think about it. So this is an arena where I can take one of these items and then fight a bunch of enemies, but none of the items are that great, so, it's not going to be worth it for me. Here we go. Now pulling all the enemies out. So, killed the 2 mini bosses after a lot of frustration, and now the exit room is mostly clear. I just need to get, and there we go. This is the second boss. This is death metal. This boss has very fast music, And one of the challenges here is just keeping the beat with this very fast music and that you're not listening to is non-trivial. You don't see the hardest boss, in my opinion, in this. But what I do is I kill all the enemies, and I use my freeze spell, freeze death metal, and take them out in 3 hits. So it looks simple. And then I grab this transmute spell. Again, there are items that you can get from that chest that you don't want to have, so I have to double check that that is an item, and I spend a little bit of time thinking. So here we go. I'm going to use a transmute spell and get a better torch. Where by better, I mean that it's less powerful. Ironically, being less powerful in Aria Hard is actually better because you get to control the aggro of enemies. You can reduce how much aggro you face. So now I'm just watching as sort of the enemies got stuck, and I was able to isolate out the bat. So this is a very obnoxious situation because the blue dragon I need to fight in a vertical alignment. So here I'm just going to pop my freeze spell, kill everything. You know, make my life easier, and I get hit one more time, but again, that was an astonishingly sticky situation, and I'm amazed that I got out of it with just 1 hit. Against my better judgment, I am going to grab that barrel and see what's in it. I'm also going to grab this chest. This is probably a mistake on average, but it paid out this time. So now it's just sort of clear my way to the exit. Again, I probably could do this faster, but this is not a sort of serious speed run. I'm instead just trying to get it clear. So open the shop, and there's a really good item. This is the Ring of Piercing that makes all my damage do piercing damage. So you saw the skeleton enemies. This will just damage them through all the skeletons with shields. This will damage the shield, damage them without having to deal with the shield. As you saw, the riders just instantly died instead of normally needing to be knocked off their skeleton horse. So here I'm now just trying to get my way to where the exit is. You can see the arrow in the upper left-hand corner is pointing towards the exit. For the first time I blew up a Sark because I find that position to be that sarcophagus was causing too much trouble, so I just blew it up. Here I'm trying to figure out if there's a safe way to get to the barrel, and there's not. I slip on ice, right? So I both can't make a movement, but I also need to like not slide into an enemy that's about to attack me. So there I just straight up miscounted and forgot where the ice was. I used my need scroll to get my potion back. And I also lost my headphones there because I did actually drop a bead. But, you know, I'm still on 2 damage, which is good enough typically. And now I'm just going to the exit. So this is Deep Blues. This is a chess match with 2 extra enemies, in this case a Minotaur and a Nightmare. And yeah, all the chess pieces move as they normally do. So if you're used to chess, you can figure out what's going to happen. The rooks and bishops only move 1 square. They don't instantly zoom towards you. And pawns that get to the end promote to queens. So there we go. I've now cleared out all the chess pieces. Very nice that I do 2 damage because the red ones take 2 health, have 2 health. So that's nice. I open this chest, get the karate key. This is +1 damage, so now I'm back up to 3 damage, which is, again, in my opinion, the magic number. Now we're in zone 2. So here, again, you can start to see the enemy setup gets more and more complicated as enemies from zone 3 and 4, as well as the enemies from zones 2 are here. Just making my way to the exit, trying to go into as few rooms as possible. Again, the normal thing, I want to fight blue dragons in a vertical space. So I just sort of wait. Blue dragon. And then the Banshee. One of the downsides of Banshees is that they mute your audio. But, well, that's not relevant. You know, I can just ignore that and make the music. So again, at this point, I'm basically full on my items. I don't need anything else. Spoiler alert, I will get something else that I probably didn't need. But yeah, so again, knowing where the exit is really useful because you just go there and you skip all the rooms. This arrow from the compass really helps a lot. So, kill everything that's aggroed and move in the direction of the bosses. This is another very noxious setup with the two mushrooms that do damage in the area around them. But I managed to wiggle the Minotaur out. So now both mini bosses are dead. Now I just need to get past the two mushrooms. This needs to be done vertically. Again, there's just sort of too many enemies, and so I'm killing all the enemies that don't respawn. And now I can safely isolate out the mushrooms. I accidentally threw, I did not mean to do that, but it wound up working out because it killed the mushrooms and everything else, and so there you go. I'm now facing up against Fortissimo. So again, it's the standard kill all the clutter enemies and then engage with the boss proper. So I've now cut the boss down to things that are normally there. And now you just hit this skeleton, and due to how the pathing algorithm works, he's not going to be able to do anything like kill these two skeletons, and then he's just an easy, Again, one of the themes across this is that once I reduce the boss fight to something I already know how to do, it's a lot easier. So now I'm in Zone 1, the last zone. And I've made an impressively embarrassing number of mistakes in Zone 1, sort of not going slow enough. The music in 1-1 is very slow, and I've dropped beats because I'm just moving too quickly. So here I see this ring, the Ring of Becoming. This causes you to die in one hit, which isn't a downside for Aria, but if you manage to transmute it, you get one of the best rings in the game. So it gives you +2 damage, it gives you better spells, it gives you cheaper shops. So I'm going to get it. I probably don't need to. So here I'm just pulling the blue dragon to get another vertical fight, because blue dragon fights get messy if you let them freeze you. As you saw, once that mage got frozen, if I was in the triangle cone, that would have been bad. Here we go, so I need to kill 11 more enemies to get the transmute. And there's a sarcophagus there that I am unfortunately going to farm. Again, the correct thing to do is to just go to the exit. My build is good enough. Flopping around like this doesn't do anything. But, well, this is a decision I made.
Too many lines there in that face, too many to erase.
You know, I think 3 damage is the magic number. Getting more than 3 damage doesn't seriously help. But, you know, what's done is done. Sort of at that moment I realized I probably actually would have preferred to keep piercing, but, you know, I'm pot committed. So, here we go. 1, 2, so there's 2 more levels left. So I need to finish these 2 levels. Again, that's an instance where piercing would have been more useful than the bonus damage. because I could have instantly killed those enemies, you know, whereas I had to deal with how they normally work. Again, just zoom to the exit. It is nice to instantly kill this Minotaur and to have 2 hits instead of 3 hits on that golem. It's not worth the time and the risk of dropping a beat that I gave myself. So there we go. Now on to 1-3. This is the last level before the final boss. Here we go. Get through this room and see the boss room, and it's going to be a blue dragon and a minotaur. The Zone 1 bosses are very prescribed, and 1-3 in hard mode will always be a blue dragon and a minotaur. So there I chose not to kill that skeleton because I knew he could outrun it and the exit was so close, and now I'm in the final boss. There's a quick kill that works about 3/4 of the time, and I'm going to get it, so this is going to go really quickly. Somehow everything is completely planned, and it's the run. So just to finalize this, I always show the screen that shows I have sound and music muted, and yeah, this is what I'm submitting to Frame Fatalis. I will have a backup seed prepared in case I do not succeed in my first couple of attempts in there, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you accept my run for Frame Fatalis. Thank you very much for watching.